I just started recording Denise. So as all y'all know, Denise Strickland works in ODE, and she's the manager in organizational development and education. And I think everybody knows her, and she's going to be doing the leadership mentoring program today. And this is kind of a new technology for us because we're doing this for the first time, and also we're doing it online, so we're going to try this. So Denise, if you're ready, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Well, hello, DCH mentors. Welcome to Leadership Mentoring. I'm very excited to be doing this particular program today because it marks an important place in the history of DCH. With this training, mentoring begins within the DCH health system as well as the use of GoToWebinar for leadership training, as Larry mentioned. You know, in ODE, we hope that this new technology will become an effective way of providing you, the leaders of DCH Health System, with timely training in a convenient location. So this is very important for those of us in ODE and those of us who have committed to be mentors within the system. So thank you for being here. And I'm excited that so many of you have tuned in to this program today. So we'll go ahead and look at our agenda. So we'll start with the welcome, and I want to welcome you, each of you. You are the 29 awesome leaders who have volunteered to pave the way for others in this system. Now, you were chosen to be mentors within the DCH health system because of your exemplary leadership skills, and that's nothing to take for granted. So I want to thank you for your experience and for your commitment to this process. The presentation that you'll hear today, we're going to try to hold it to 20 to 30 minutes, and at the end of it you'll have opportunity to ask questions, and I'll provide the best answers as I possibly can. And then we'll close it out with an evaluation, which will be electronic. Larry will post it in the chat window at the ending of the program. We'll just ask him to do that for us at the end. I want to go ahead and get started with the actual program today. I have invited a very important person to share with you a short story today. You know, this is in order to ground this training in experience. Mary Hanks is one of the first mentees within the DCH health system. She was provided a mentor with her internal promotion within the system this year. Mary accepted the role of nurse manager of the rehab pavilion, and with that promotion she became part of our beta test for mentoring. And I have asked her, and she has so graciously agreed to accept the possibility to come to us today and share her story. So with that, I'm going to ask Larry if you would go ahead and open Mary's mic. Mary, when you're ready, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Denise. I hope everyone can hear me.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. I would like to start off by just saying how the mentor program came at a great time for me. It was a godsend because I had been in the assistant nurse manager role and thought that I was prepared to come into the nurse manager role, but there were many aspects that I was clueless on. Denise, I remember the first thing that she did for me actually was getting me into the leadership development program here at DCH. She knew that it was something that would be important to my growth, and even though it was last minute, she managed to get me in there. There I met a lot of great contacts, and I formed some strong bonds. So now when I go to different leadership meetings across the facilities, I see friendly faces, and I just feel much more comfortable there. Another incident that stands out for me is when Denise and I met for the first time. She suggested that I have a 3 to 6 month plan just so I would know what direction I was headed in. We decided that I needed to kind of look and see what my big rocks were, those things that were very important that I needed to get started on. and to tackle those immediately. Surprisingly, as I started to look at some of those big rocks, the little rocks actually started to fall into place and get handled also. I'm proud to say that I have been able to accomplish some of those goals, and it was because of Denise's guidance. I also I'm almost embarrassed to say, but with Outlook, I had used Outlook to open my emails, and that's about the extent that I had used it. And I was hyperventilating about using the Microsoft Outlook. And in Denise's office that first day, I shared this with her. And in 10 minutes, she basically guided me through what I needed to know and how to use Outlook, so that when I came to my office in the morning time, I was much more organized and just felt much more comfortable with that system. Denise and I, we do continue to meet. The conversation with her is always easy. And I would like to say that, now she's more than a mentor. She's my colleague, and I also would like to think that she's a friend. I know that whenever I have questions, I can call her anytime, and even if she doesn't know the answer, she does know how to put me in contact with the right people. I guess that's pretty much it.
Oh, well, Mary, thank you so much for sharing your story. You give me a lot of credit in that story, and I think that it might be credit not deserved. You've really taken hold of your leadership position, and you've really given it an all-out effort. And I'm so proud of your growth and how you're showing up as the nurse manager of rehab.
Thank you.
I know that you're extremely busy. I want to thank you for joining us for this first portion of the training. But if you need to leave the webinar now, you're welcome to do so. But thank you again for coming.
Thank you, Denise.
All right, bye-bye. Now, Mary shared her story, and she did give some credit to the mentor, but I want you to realize that the process is what has brought Mary the ability to gain the success that she has. Her story serves as a reminder of why we're here in this role today. We are all here to serve new leaders within the health system. That's our goal, and it just gives me a renewed spirit to hear a story from someone who has been supported by the process. It helps me gain more confidence with it. So with that, let's go ahead and look at our objectives for the day. Within this short time that we're together, by the time we leave, you'll be able to describe what it means to be a mentor. And when I say that, I mean we'll have common terms at the end of this program. You'll be able to identify 5 important roles of the mentor, to discuss the expectation of DCH mentors, to utilize the mentoring contract document, which has been important for me, to identify who will be mentored within the system. You'll be able to identify some advantages to you, the mentor. There are some, and you'll be able to discuss some further learning opportunities that will occur. Now, if that sounds like something that will be helpful as we pursue this opportunity to mentor together, raise your hand and let me know if we're on the right track. You can do that by clicking on the icon. Okay, it looks like we're on the right track here by the number of hands that I can see raised. So let's go ahead and look at some definitions. There are numerous definitions for mentoring in the current literature, so it's going to be important that we function from the same understanding. So here's the definition of mentoring that we will utilize. Mentoring is an intentional developmental relationship in which a more experienced or more knowledgeable person nurtures the professional or personal life of a less experienced person. And more specifically, a DCH mentor is a capable leader with DCH experience who's willing to provide support to a newly hired leader within the health system. Those will be the definitions that we use when we refer to mentoring. Now, some of you may be a little nervous about your ability to perform this role, and I thought that it was important to include the 5 important roles of a mentor and those responsibilities in this initial training. Now, we won't be providing any skill building opportunities today, but this is to let you see the roles, and you can see those listed down the left-hand side of your viewing screen there. And then I'm just going to provide you a short discussion for each of them, because I think that you'll see as I discuss these roles that you already perform these on a daily basis. First, we'll talk about counselor. The counselor just establishes open and trusting relationships. You do that daily with your staff members. It's about being interested in them, about helping them know that it's safe to talk to you. That's really the first thing that you need to be able to do when you're mentoring someone. The next role is guide. In the role of guide, you're going to provide knowledge of the education that's available within the system. You know, I listened to Mary's story. You know, she talked about the times when I told her about leadership opportunities that are available within the system. And amazingly, that's one of the things that stands out for her as a highlight of mentoring. You guys have already been through leadership training in this system, and you can certainly point others toward it. You will be providing a role of motivator to just simply encourage that new hire, that leader who's just moved from a clinical role into a leadership role, who needs to know that some of the things that they're doing, some of the things that they're trying are on the right track and they're making progress. You know, you've been through leadership development phase 2, and I know that you're skilled at the use of SBI feedback model. I encourage you to use that to make sure that your feedback is impactful. Another role is that of sponsor, and this just simply means providing those mentees with networking opportunities. You know, in Mary's story, she talked about when she goes to leadership sessions now, she has the ability to find people that she knows, people that she's connected with, either through training or other situations where she's been connected with another leader in the system to provide guidance. And when we've been leaders for quite some time, like all of you guys who are on this webinar right now, it wasn't necessary for us to introduce ourselves to each other because you're seasoned leaders. You know each other. You've experienced each other. But when we're new in this system, it's a totally different situation. And it's very easy to forget that when we've been here for a while. The last role that I'll speak to is that of teacher. And in this instance, being the teacher does not mean being the expert. It just simply means having knowledge of the DCH system and to provide guidance to that mentee so that they can go and find the answers. You know, best practice is actually simply pointing an adult in the right direction to help them help themselves. So we really are more effective when we just help people find their way to the information than when we feed it to them. So these are the important roles that a mentor will be playing as we move forward with this new process. Now I want to introduce to you some support tools that we've made available in the system. The first one we'll talk about are the mentoring expectations. Now, you receive the mentoring expectations first when you received your invitation to participate in the mentoring program, in the invitation that the Vice President of Human Resources, Beth Francis, sent to you. Those mentoring expectations, I'm going to link to them here, but I'm not going to go over them in detail. But I hope you should have them. I sent them out last Thursday afternoon, I think, and for your review prior to this training. But I hope that you will notice that these mentoring expectations are really very similar to the roles that we just went over in as being the 5 important roles for mentors to play. The next tool that I'd like to talk to you about is the mentoring contract document. Now, this document too was sent to you last Thursday, and I hope that you've taken an opportunity to look at this. I want to talk to you a little bit about it. We're not going to go in detail, but I think that it's important that you be able to understand this document and to understand where it came, its origination. In our first beta test of the mentoring process, it was not very structured. The mentoring relationship was not structured. It was left to the mentor to make a lot of decisions about what to do in those sessions. And we got feedback from the mentor saying, please provide us with some structure. We need to have a process that we can follow to help us feel more successful. So that's where this document came from. It actually originated from out of the beta test. And in session 1, it's basically initiated by the mentor. It's an opportunity to organize the way that you're going to be together, provide structure to your relationship, and to begin to know each other, to talk about confidentiality, and to actually make a commitment together to the process. And all of this begins to develop a safe environment for both you, the mentor, and the mentee to function. The second session is about building relationships. You want to get to know the mentee better. You might begin by introducing them to the onboarding website that's provided on our intranet site. That site provides many good tools for new leaders within the system, as well as tools for those of us who've been around for a while. You also want to begin to discuss with the new leader how they're going to build relationships within their staff. This is particularly important for people who are moving from roles of clinician into the leadership role. And then you want to begin to talk to them about developing a 6-month plan. You know, in Mary's story earlier, 2 of the things that she highlighted came out of this second session. When she talked about Outlook and my introducing her to Outlook and helping her know how to navigate it, it actually occurred when we were going to the new leader onboarding website, and she saw my Outlook open. And this is the time when we began to talk about a 6-month plan. When Mary talked about big rocks and little rocks, she's referring to goals, 6-month goals. In Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he calls our goals in life big rocks, and helps us know that when we manage the big rocks, the small rocks fall in place. And Mary has gone through that training, and she's also experienced 6-month planning, and sees the success that that's brought her. In session 3, you're going to have your mentee discuss their thoughts about their 6-month plan. You're going to provide them some information on leadership opportunities for them to develop themselves in the system. And I'm referring to things like 7 habits, leadership, development phases 1 and 2, and there's going to be more and more opportunities throughout this year and the coming year for leaders. And then assign them to begin to pull together that 6-month plan, actually make an assignment at the end of session 3. And then in session 4, they're going to discuss their plan. You're going to provide information on DCH culture and effective communication. And you'll see that by this time the mentee is starting to play more of a role in the sessions. It's about you opening the session and then allowing them to provide all the information within the session. Session 5 is helping them to look forward to the future. What are the things that are coming up in your leadership future? As an experienced leader, you know when budget is coming around. You know when you're about to have to complete evaluations. You know when the job descriptions need updating. There's a lot of things that occur annually that if you can help the mentee look forward far enough in advance, they can be prepared when it comes along. I remember that was an opportunity in my role as a mentor, was to point my mentee in the direction where they could learn more about the budget prior to budget time, so that when they were actually developing their budget, they weren't nervous, they were prepared, they were centered and ready to do what the job called them to do. And then in session 6, you're going to discuss future plans. You know, how do you want to be together? By this time, you have developed that relationship. You want to talk about what you can do together to continue to grow. What are your opportunities for learning, and how do you want to use the last part of your year? This is when it really opens up free for you, and you have an opportunity to work with the mentee to do what will best serve the two of you. Now, another support tool is that of surveying. ODE will utilize SurveyMonkey to provide quarterly surveys to both the mentor and the mentee. Now, our hope is to continually improve this process. We want to stay abreast of what's happening and your comfort and ease with the process, so that we can continue to make improvements. The only way we can do that is for you to tell us. So quarterly you'll receive a survey, and we will track that information and make changes to the process as needed. Now, we'll also provide you with mentoring training opportunities. There may be opportunities for training that comes from the survey and improvements that we've had to make, where we would offer training around that. But additionally, there will be formal there's a formal plan for the year. One thing that we plan to do is to make available to you self-directed learning opportunities. We want you to have the opportunity to learn at your own pace, to read materials that are available to you, and then quarterly we would hold collaborative learning discussions so that we could come together as a group of mentors and talk about what we've read, talk about what we've learned, and hold discussions about how that information can support us in moving forward with mentoring at DCH. Another thing that we're trying to implement, we're in the process of working on, is developing a blog that would be located on the DCH intranet, where mentors can find literature for review. You'd be able to share your ideas, tell your success stories, ask questions of people who are walking a similar path to you, and participate in collaborative discussions in an ongoing process. And we'll keep you updated on that endeavor as it continues to develop. Mentoring assignments have to be made within the system, and I sent you again a link that provided you with information about how assignments will be made. This document tells you that mentors will be provided for new leaders, whether they're hired external from DCH Health System or if they're promoted from within. Now, the process actually originates with the HR recruiter, who will notify ODE, and ODE houses the pool of mentors or available mentors. Now, I want to point out to you that the beta test told us that we were actually more successful with mentor relationships when they were not in the same, when the mentor and mentee were not in the same department. With Mary and I, with that example, you can see that it wasn't even necessary to be within the same facility. So what we will be looking at are hierarchical issues and so forth, and the ODE coordinator will have approval from the ODE director, will also pass the match past the hiring director, and at that time the mentor would be notified of the match as well as the mentee. I found that it's not important to know the person before you enter a mentoring relationship. I knew Mary I knew very little about Mary when we entered the mentoring relationship, but now I know her as well as I know any leader in this system. The mentoring process works this way. The mentoring relationship, once an assignment has been made, will last for 1 year. You made a 1-year commitment to that individual. The process is initially driven by the mentor, but as you noticed in the contracting document, as the sessions move forward, the mentee becomes more and more involved until it's by the 6th month you're actually in a partnership where there's a lot of give and take. I want to note here that the beauty in following the contracting document. When I participated in mentoring with Mary, I was diligent about making sure that I followed the process in the contracting document. Number one was just to make sure that it would work. We were in a beta test, and I needed to know that the information we were to provide to our mentors was actually valid information. So as Mary told her story, she's telling the story of a mentor who has walked through the contracting document. Actually, what I would do is review that document before every one of our mentoring sessions and try to stay on track. So if you follow the document, it should provide success if you feel like Mary's story was success. So after 6 months, you'll begin to create your own process, and at the end of the year, you'll decide whether you want to keep it a formal mentoring relationship or whether you're comfortable with an informal relationship. At that point, after the year is completed, our names will go back into the pool to be assigned new mentors, whether we're keeping a formal relationship or moving on. Now, I want to point out to you some benefits to mentoring, because by now you may be thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of work, Denise. Well, it is, but it's fulfilling work. So actually providing mentorship to another person strengthens our own leadership skills, and it allows us to develop rewarding professional relationships. It develops respect from our peers, and it creates respect in ourselves. So I want to just stop right here for a moment to say that it was such a joy for me as I began to see the responses to the invitation to mentor coming back in that Beth had sent out to the group. Almost every one of you referred to this opportunity as an honor, which it really is, and I'm glad that you realize that and you know that. Being asked to mentor says a lot. It means that you have proven yourself in the system as a leader. You should be proud of that and be excited about going on to leave your legacy here at DCH. Now, Greg Giddings was so wonderfully volunteered to participate as one of the mentors in our beta test, and I have asked Greg if he would come. You've heard a story from the mentee's standpoint. I thought it would be important that you hear a story from the mentor's experience, and I've asked Greg. Greg is the Director of Support Services for DCH Health System, and he's going to tell you his story. And Greg, welcome to the presentation, and I'll ask Larry to open your mic, and I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Denise, and good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to compliment Denise and her team for the manner in which DCH's program has been crafted. I've had the opportunity to participate as a mentor on a few occasions in another healthcare organization. And our program at DCH, there's been a tremendous amount of time and effort spent by ODE in the research and development prior to delivering this program that we're participating in. And that attention to details provided us with a program that's, in my opinion, one of the best in the country. So thank you for providing this venue. Denise mentioned that as mentors we have the role of counselor, guide, motivator, sponsor, and teacher. I'd like to introduce you to another term many of you may be familiar with, and that's maven. A maven is a trusted expert in a particular field who seeks to pass on knowledge to others, and that's really what we are as mentors. Malcolm Gladwell in his book The Tipping Point goes into depth about what mavens are, and another group of people called connectors, and we also as mentors kind of fulfill that role. The connectors are the people who have a wide network of acquaintances throughout a certain social group or an organization in our standpoint. And you know, when you combine the knowledge base of the maven and the abilities of connector, we have a winning combination for mentors, and that's why y'all have been selected. In regard to my experience as a DCH mentor, it's been a very rewarding endeavor for me, both personally and professionally. I found that I've actually grown as much, if not more, and learned as much as not more than my mentee. The best part of the mentor relationship is that I've gained a friend and a colleague that I can support and share with long after this mentor-mentee engagement is over with. And that, in part, is due to DCH's selection process. It's very well thought out. My match has been extremely compatible. We have similar interests and temperaments, and while our roles are not the same in the organization, our ability to communicate and our insights are very compatible. I found that while supporting the needs of my mentee and advising this person, I've gained additional insight into how others view our system coming from other organizations and how best I can help merge the strengths of that prior experience into our culture for a winning combination. Overall, it's been a tremendous growth experience for me. I hope the same is true for my mentee. And I think we've both broadened our horizons and developed a long-term friendship as a result of this program.
Wow, Greg, thank you so much for sharing your experience as the mentor, not only your experience here at DCH, but your previous experience as well. You know, I'm delighted to have you being a part of this process, and just look forward to future experiences as we move through it. And thank you so very much for your acknowledgement of the process we've created.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of fun. It really has.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much. So we're going to move on into, let me just say before we move off this, I can't wait to hear other mentors' experiences. This has just been so much fun for me to hear Greg's story, and I want to hear more stories. I can't wait for that to be the case. So with that, let's look at our future training opportunities. You know, earlier I mentioned, oh, excuse me, that there be opportunities within the system for self-directed learning, and you're going to have that coming your way. As soon as we complete this this webinar, I'm going to be mailing out to you the book, 7 Keys to Successful Mentoring. I encourage you to read this 32 pages of easy reading. It's going to provide you with more information on mentoring. You know, obviously, Greg has some previous experience, and he can speak to mentoring at a level much deeper than what we've covered today, and that's my hope for all of us, that we will just continue to deepen our understanding of the mentoring process as we move forward together. So you'll receive your book via in-house mail, and then you'll receive notification of when we'll be planning to come together for a collaborative discussion on that material. I hope that you're excited about that and look forward to sharing with your with other mentors in the system. With that, we're going to open the phone lines for questions, and I'll just ask Larry if you will. I'm going to hand this over to you and allow you to call on people, open their mics, and I'll answer questions as best I can. I may call on others of you to help serve in this role.
Okay, Tony Dutton's had his hand raised for a while, so let's go to Tony and see what he has to say. Tony?
Hey, Tony. How can I help you?
Okay, he must be asleep. Sorry. We'll come back to him. Okay, what about
Okay.
Tracy Swan?
Hi, Tracy. Go ahead. Whoops.
Well, I don't know where Tracy
Got
is.
another question, Larry?
I don't see another question right now.
If you have a question, all you have to do is click on that raise your hand button.
Yeah. Okay, well, Tony, are you there? I have Tony's and Tracy's mic open, so we're not hearing them.
Okay. Well, they may have not gotten their hand down on one of those times when I ask people to raise their hands. But if you think of a question after we've dismissed, I want to let you know that I'm more than willing to answer them. Please just give me a call. My extension is 5047, and if I see any trends that need to be addressed, I can address those by emailing the entire mentoring group. So if no one has a question at this time.
Let's try it. Tony's and Tracy's came up again, so let's just try Tony. Are you there, Tony?
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Okay. I can explain that.
Okay.
Tracy's went down, so okay.
All right. Well, Tony, if you do have a question and you're having trouble getting through via the webinar, you can call me on the phone at 5047, and I'll be glad to address that as soon as we're off the webinar. But Larry, at this point, I'd like to. Can you go ahead and post the evaluation in the chat box?
Yes, I just did that.
Thank you. Well, this actually concludes our annual mentoring training, and I appreciate your participation. You're willing to be here to listen, to review the documents, to raise your hand and lower your hand, to participate from time to time. You'll be notified if you've been identified as a mentor. We actually have some mentees who have been on hold, and after this session we'll actually be following through with the matches, and some of you may be hearing very soon that you've been identified as the perfect match for a new DCH leader. Thank you so much for your willingness to do that. Now you can just click on the link that Larry's posted in the chat box. It'll take you directly to an evaluation of the program where we're interested in not only your review of the content but also the delivery process. We want to know if GoToWebinar, how it served you today. And thank you very much for your assistance. I'm also going to send out this link via email following the program, just in case, particularly for those of you who are gathered at a computer with someone else, so you can fill out the evaluation. So thank you and have a wonderful day. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.